kings can unify or divide the country. Here it is illustrated by a game of chess. The chess pieces represent the different social classes in a typical medieval society. The game is all about checkmating the king. But how do you keep a real king in check? Envied for his power and privileges, a king rarely feels secure. This is exemplified no better than in A Knight's Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer.
And all above, depainted in a tower, saw I conquest, sitting in great honour, with the sharp sword over his head, hanging by a subtle twine's thread.
The sword hanging over him by a thin thread represents the danger a king faces at all times. The tale has been known since ancient times as the Sword of Damocles. The English author Geoffrey Chaucer then retold or interpreted the story. His version can be read in the Canterbury Tales, which dates to the late 14th century. A king also has obligations to his subjects. One of them is to enact new legislation.
With law shall the country be built. But if all men were content with what is theirs and let others enjoy the same right, there would be no need for a law.
This introduction from the 13th century Code of Jutland is an example of how the king is supposed to defend the rights of common people, at least in theory. But what do you do when the king is the one who is not content and wants more power? In many parts of medieval Europe, the king must be elected by the aristocracy. Before Christopher II can be elected King of Denmark in 1320, he will be bound by a legal document. In Denmark, this is known as a Håndfæstning. It is similar to the Magna Carta from the previous century, legally binding the English monarchs. The idea is that the would-be king had to respect the rights of the aristocracy as well as the common people, and generally speaking, rule as a just monarch. However, when Christopher became king, the realm was deeply indebted and mortgaged. In an attempt to raise revenue by increasing taxation, he violates the Håndfæstning. The nobility then rose up against him, and he had to flee the country. After his death in 1332, Denmark is without a king for 8 years. Despite its little to no significance for the general population, the Håndfæstning, as well as Magna Carta, can be interpreted as the theoretical medieval precursor for many of the civil rights we enjoy today.